So similar to this, we would go to our router and create a route for the login page. /login name login component, again login. We would need to create a component with login as the name that I do in views, login.view, and a template wherein I say login. Yep. So if I go to the route login, I can see that being reflected. So let's get started. It's going to be again a card with a width and margins. Let's give it a title. We would say welcome back as the title, and a subtitle. Login with your email and password, and then a div with some slight margin. Again, we would need some more styling here. MT20. Something went wrong. This P4 should have been a class. Yep, it works now. And we would again need to input fields. So v text field setup. Again, import ref from view, and then we would need two refs: email, which would initially be null, and password, which would also be null. And then here we need to have those fields. So v model, the first would be the email field with label as email, and our field is there. And the second field would be password with the label as password, and we need types. So type email and type password. We have our two fields ready. We would need a button. The button says login, and type button, and on click of the button we call a function login, and need to give some width to the button. Yes, and this is enough. So we have our login button ready as well. So now let us add some functionality on how the login would happen. So again, I would need to import auth from @util/firebase. So this is again very simple. what I need, the function that we used at the sign up was create user with email and password. We got this function from Firebase authentication. The function that we would need for sign in is called as sign in with email and password. I understand that this is a big function name, but I also like the fact that it's doing exactly what it says it would do. And we would need this function from Firebase authentication. And then when the login function is called, we would call sign in with email and password, wherein we would pass the authentication email.value, password.value, because those were saved in ref, and then it returns us user credentials, and then we are going to get those user credentials in our variable. So from user credentials.user, and then we are going to save it in local storage. So local storage.set item user, and this user is going to save there, unless it gives us an error, in which case we would log error.code and error.message. And now I will have to enter the same email ID and password to verify. And to do that, I'm going to log the user here to know if it worked. So I'm going to enter the email ID that I did and the password that I had. Yes, and I log in, and it gave me the user, which tells me that it worked. So it says that I can set a display name. If that can be done, it would be good, and then I can verify the local storage. And it did work, but it saved an object which I don't want. So before saving, we are going to do json.stringify. Coming back here, I just need to see what more information does this have. So our email login, and let's log in once again to see if this updates. So here I'm going to enter the email ID and the password and login, and yeah, this time instead of object it is the actual user information that I would need. And now that the user is logged in, I would prefer not. So you only show the login page and sign up page to your users if they are not logged in already. But if they're logged in already, you would directly throw them on the app page. That's one task that we need to do. And the other task is that there should be a way for me to go to the sign up page from the login page if I haven't signed up yet. So for example, if I try to log in with another ID, let's say josh@gmail.com and some password. I log in and it results in an error because there is no such user. What if I want to sign up with that user? Then there should be a link for me to do that. So to add that, we would have a div which would serve so it would say don't have an account, and then it would have a router link for me to go to the sign up page. And because I already have a sign up page, I would just have to pass the name as sign up. Yep, it's not looking good, so maybe we can move it inside. And we add a margin top of 4. And this text color can be lighter, or maybe just leave that as is. So sign up is a link for me. It should have an underline like this. Yes. So if I click on sign up, it leads me to the sign up page. Similarly, from the sign up page, there should be a link that gets me to the login page. So I'm just going to replicate that here, but the text would be different. It would say already have an account, and the button would say login, and it would lead me to the login page. So from sign up, if I click on login, it gets me to the login page, and from login, if I click on sign up, it leads me to the sign up page. And then I want that if a user is already logged in, it should directly lead me to the chat page. So let's create a chat page first. I'm creating a new view called chat.view, and then in my router I'm going to set up a route. The path would just be / that is the home route, and then the name would be chat, and the component would be chat. So it automatically imported that, and I'm going to add a template here. This is the chat page, and here I am. So here basically we want to tell it that each time before you're redirecting to a route, we need to ask it to check for a few things. So here we're going to say router dot before each. which means that before each redirect to the route, we get the to and from. To is the route where it's coming from, and from is where it's going to. And we are going to check a couple of things here. We are going to check for the user in local storage. Local storage. So we will get local storage dot get item user. We're getting the user that we saved in the local storage, and we check if this user exists. If user, then we are going to move the route to someplace else. So we are going to return name as chat. Else, if there is no user, return false. So if the user is present, redirect them to chat. Else, continue with the login and sign up page. So let's try it out. Infinite redirect in navigation guard. So we would check if route.to is chat, which means that if it was meant to be redirected to the chat page and user is not present, then redirect to login. Else, return false. And our sign up page is not appearing. Let's take next, and instead of returning false, let's tell it to continue with next. Yep. So basically we are telling it, let's check. So if I go to /chat, okay, there's no such thing because it was just direct. So this is the chat page. It let me come to the chat page because I had a user in the local storage. But what if I delete it and there is no user and I continue? It results in an error, invalid navigation guard. So if user is present and to is login, return chat. Else, if user is present and to is sign up, again return chat, which means redirect them to chat. Else, next, which as is. So if I go to /sign up, it should continue. There is no user, right? Yep, we deleted the user. But if I go to just slash, so we need to add a condition for that too. Else, if there is no user and to is chat, which means that if the user is not logged in but is trying to go to the chat page, return them to login page. And this is not working. Why? Because let's log user. User is null. And what is 2? Okay, 2.name. If you are returning a value instead of calling next, make sure to remove the next parameter from your function. So what if we just say return false? No, we need to return something. So here, is this condition matching? It was true first and then it became false. So user is not present is true in both cases, but so it became login after that, but the same is not reflecting in the URL. And to do that, so instead of returning it this way, we return it with a name. Again it became so I think it would work now. If I go to chat, yeah, so I didn't need the return false here. So because I'm not logged in yet, let us try signing up with a new user. And then I want that when the sign up is complete and we've set the local storage, I want it to redirect me to the chat page. So import use router from view router. And then const router is equal to use router, and then router dot push name chat. So let's see, I'm signing up with a new user, and I want that once my sign up process is complete, it should redirect me to the chat page. It didn't do that, and if I reload, I do have a new user. So now, yeah, it didn't work immediately because there is a user now. So now each time I go to the sign up page, I would be redirected back to the chat page. we would need to implement a logout too, but for now, if I again the same mistake here is that when saving to local storage I need to do json.stringify. Let me delete this, and then if I refresh it takes me to sign up, and if I go to login I would have to add the route here too. So import use router from view router, and then const router is use router, and then once we save it into local storage I want the router to push me to the chat page. So we go to login. I'll try to log in with the other user that I just created. Login, and yeah, it worked here. I'm not sure why it didn't work on the sign up page. I can try with the sign up page once again. So I'm deleting it again from here, and then this leads me to the login page. I go to the sign up page, sign up, and yeah, it worked. So our redirection logic is basically working. I can remove the logs that I added here. So my authentication is working. In the next video we will start with our chat application. All that we've done so far is just create the foundation for our chat application, because for any chat application authentication is very important. You only want authenticated users to chat with each other and not anyone else. We learned today how to set up a Vue app, set up Tailwind CSS, set up Vuetify, set up Firebase, and then we learned how to do authentication with Firebase. In the next video we will start with the actual functioning of our chat application. So see you guys in the next video.